This is about the relationship between universities and zoos. And this video maintains that universities should be zoos. A good university is a good zoo. And a faculty at a university should be a bunch of people who don't believe the same thing, don't act the same way, don't have the same background, don't agree on anything. And so, I have a lot of beliefs about the world and about universities and about knowledge and everything else. But one of my beliefs is that nobody else should have my beliefs. First of all, I would hate talking to them if they did. I get tired of my beliefs myself, really, regularly. Get sick of hearing them. Here I am trapped inside of me all day, every day, and I have the same damn belief this year I had last year, and you get sick of it. And I love that poem called New Heaven, New Earth by D.H. Lawrence. And it's all me, tainted with me. I'm sick of me, trapped inside of me. I am I, and what I think and believe is from I. And so on both sides it's I, and I'm sick of this I-ness. And so, for my benefit, I like being in a university where nobody agrees with anything Richard Green says. And I like universities where every other faculty doesn't agree with anything every other faculty says. And I like faculties that have a variety of views and people and backgrounds, and they're rather incompatible and contradictory. I think that's a good faculty. I think that's good for students. And I've been in other faculties, top 10 faculties, where everybody worshipped Milton Friedman. And they were made forcibly to worship, and faculty who did not were fired. They were, one way or another, over the course of years, forced out. And so that's not a good university faculty at all. That's a quite terrible faculty. And it's not an intellectual place to be at all. It's an anti-intellectual atmosphere. And somebody is afraid of other ideas because they want emotionally to believe that their ideas are right or rightiest. And that's a little adolescent boy's world, not a man or an adult world. And yet we have several top 10 faculty that are like that. Harvard is quite like that. University of Chicago is quite like that. Stanford is quite like that. And so these are not real faculties. I'm sorry, but they're not. And they're prestigious and evil and ineffective and not intellectual places. And the young faculty who try to work at Harvard or Stanford or UC will tell you this, that it was breathtaking how little ideas you would get in the hallway conversations with people, because those ideas, if they were good, would show up published by somebody else's graduate students with no credit to you. And I always found that vile. I always attribute conversations that I remember that are sources of my ideas. And I'll say that I got X idea in a personal conversation with Professor so-and-so in the hallway sometime in late 1979. I'll attribute that. Just because it's not written is not a reason not to be honest about how your ideas don't usually come from you. And I find it very intellectually dishonest the way University of Chicago, Harvard, and Stanford professors do not do conversational attributions in their citations. Now, editors of journals don't like that. That's too bad for them. It's honest. It's a core academic function. You erode all of research and academia and honesty when you don't allow personal conversation attributions. And the editors need to get off their butt and do some work and think and have some integrity. And stop working for commercial publishers that are doing it so they can charge $30 an article so no one in the world can read any research. Although most of the research is crap, so you shouldn't read it anyway. But faculty should be a zoo, and a good faculty is a zoo. And that means, from my point of view personally, if everybody on a faculty doesn't agree with any of my ideas, it's a good faculty. Now, if they all agree with their ideas and don't agree with mine, it's a bad faculty. But if they don't agree with each other's ideas just as much, then it's a great faculty. And then the students benefit. But more than important than students benefiting, research benefits. When these incompatible viewpoints and approaches go tackle a common issue. And then you get this gorgeous variety of stuff. And, I never would have looked at data like that. I never would have analyzed it that way. I never would have spotted that kind of a pattern. and my life is bigger because the guy next to me is incompatible with me. And I learn from that, and that's fun. It really is fun. And it's irritating when you're sort of competing with each other, but when you've got the results privately alone in your room, and you're reading them and you say, you know, I would never in a million years have done that, but now that he's done it, it's interesting, and it's changing my point of view. But I'm never going to tell him, never going to tell him, but it is changing my point of view. And that's a great faculty, and that's what you want to aim for. You want to aim for a lot of mutually incompatible people and viewpoints. You know, giraffes, bears, beavers. You want that variety, and you want antlers on some and trunks on others and little furry things on others. You want those kinky, weird differences of everything, and that makes a great faculty.